Hey guys, it's Katie, and I'm here today to do a video updating you on my Changed My Goodreads. So, back in, I think it was like March, I told you I was going through like a deep spring cleaning of my Goodreads and then also just kind of my general shelves and whatnot. And I did a lot in regards to my Goodreads stuff, but I didn't do as much with my bookish things in like actual bookshelves because, as I might have mentioned before, we're planning on moving at some point. So literally what we ended up doing is putting like all of our books in boxes instead. So once we get all settled there, then as I said, I'll probably do a huge unhaul and then do all kinds of fun things with the new space that we have in relation to books, and I'm super excited about that part. But in terms of my Goodreads, as I said, I did a lot of things, and I'm gonna kind of just explain to you what I did. First things first, I got rid of a ton of books from my to-read shelf. I was at like almost 1,000 books, and I am currently, as of July 5th, 2018, at 715 books on my want to read list, and that's of my overall to read. I'm hoping on keeping it around the 700 mark if I can, because I seem to add more books than I read, which is, every book lover's problem. I might make it a routine thing to just go through and make sure I'm really have books on there that I'm actually planning on reading, because I have this thing that I tend to do where I add all of the things and then I go back and look at them and I'm like, wait, what was that about? Or I think to myself like, oh wait, why did I add that? I just impulsively add it. I feel like I've gotten a little bit better and more careful about it, and I've taken to only adding like the first book of a series, which I typically only do for my to read light list, but I've also been kind of doing it for my want to read list rather than adding the entire, like all of the books in a series at once, because I don't know if I'm gonna like it. And because I'm being a little bit more careful with that, I don't know, maybe I'll just end up changing my Goodreads again. I don't know. Then I of course still have my want to read light shelf, which only now currently has 197 books, which is way better than having like close to 500-ish, I believe. Of course, I still have my priority, secondary, and tertiary shelves for like the level of interest of books that I want to read. My priority to read is now down to 95 books. My secondary to read is now to 96, and my tertiary is down to 9. Yeah, you heard that right. 9 books on my tertiary, which I might end up changing again. I might just get rid of the tertiary shelf and just put a lot of them into secondary. I don't know yet. But the way that, if you aren't familiar, the way that I do this is like my want to read is my overarching, like, this is where everything goes. And then my to read light is just the first books in the series or whatever is up kind of next will go in there. And then my primary, secondary, and tertiary ranks those books in terms of what I really, really must absolutely 100% need to get to versus things that I'm like not as interested in, and then we go from there. Now, I've also still got my quote books to keep forever shelf, which are the books that no matter what, I will always keep them because they have such a special place in my heart. You could theoretically call it my favorites shelf, but it's more than that. Those are the books that even if I'm moving across the world or going somewhere, those are the books that I will always have to have in my possession in some way, shape, or form. And I've only got 104 in there currently. Actually, it's probably less because I did something funky with this one series that I've got. But yeah, currently I've got 104 in there. It may grow, it might not. I don't know. It's just kind of a special books shelf kind of a situation. And then of course I have my books I need shelf, which are the books that I want to read but I don't have in any form or another, or have any kind of, just I need to get them in some form, whether it's to the library, which I rarely go to, or buy, or to kind of borrow from friends or something. And that has a 580 books. So a large majority of the books on my to read shelf are also in my books I need shelf. And I haven't really scoured that lately, so I might go through that and, I don't know, maybe reevaluate what I've got. And also got my TBR for the rest of 2018 and then my TBR for 2019 so far. So for my TBR in 2018, I've only got 12 books left, which is not 100% accurate because I'm in the middle of a series, but I haven't added all of the books individually because it's just a pain. So what I've literally done is just have the 12 that I've got there, even though it's more like, I don't even know, I've got about 30-ish. So 30 plus 12, that's 42. In reality, I've got about 42 books left. But yeah, 12 are the like main novels that I've got left. But then I've also started my TBR for 2019 because, as I talked to you guys and also in another prior video, I needed to pick my physical TBR for 2019 because we were going to start putting our books into boxes. And so I kept out several books and they're kind of chilling over there in my corner. And so far I've got 16 books for that. I don't know if I'll add any more for a while or what, because 2019 is going to be a very unusual year since I will literally have a period of about 3 months where I won't be able to read at all because of bar prep. So I'm trying to keep the books that I'm picking to a page limit. I think my limit is like no books more than 500 pages or something like that. And so I think I've got a nice set of books over there that I think I could, still manage to read. But those are mostly for the beginning of the year because I'm instilling that page limit situation on myself. And what I've done is once I've added those to my TBRs, whether they're for 2018 or 2019, I've removed them from my to read light and priority secondary and tertiary lists because then they are they're planning on being read in the near future, and they just don't need to stay on those other shelves as well, because those shelves are kind of more for like distant reading things. I don't know. But then I've also got some other shelves that I have that are empty at the current moment, and I probably won't fill them with anything until I solidify my whole book situation. And that is my owned books, and then I've separated them into owned ebooks TBR and owned ebooks just separate. And then I have my owned physical books and then my owned physical books TBR. And the reason all of those are blank at the moment is because of the weird moving situation. I know I'm going to do a deep unhaul of books, and then I'm probably re-inventorying everything. So until I know what that is exactly going to be, just for all of them, I'm just going to leave it completely blank. Even books I know that I'm 100% going to keep, whether they're in ebook or if they're in physical form, I'm just leaving those shelves completely blank for the moment. As many of you know from my previous video, I had my star rating shelves, and I split everything up by genre, and everything was just a chaotic mess. So now I've just really simplified everything, and I'm pretty satisfied with what I did, and so I hope this continues to work for me just as well. Just because I removed all those books that I did back in March doesn't mean that I will never read them. I actually ended up writing every single one of them in a notebook. And so, as I said, I'm pretty satisfied with what I did, and we'll see how it works. But other than that, that's about all I've got for you today. So, as always, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media. I have a Twitter and a Goodreads, which are both linked below. And I have other social media sites, such as a second Twitter, a Tumblr, and an Instagram that is travel centric upon request if you would like. And I will come back with another video for you guys again soon. Okay, bye.